and happy Thursday, August 24th, 2023, and welcome to a brand new edition of what we like to call the Clash of Champions. I am your host, the vegan you believe in, Kurt Cadet, aka Conscious Kurt in the flesh as always, and this man needs no introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is tag team partner Jonathan Randall, the adventurer himself, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, welcome to our brand new episode. You could follow us on Instagram at champs.clash and on Twitter at the champs clash on Twitter, ladies and gentlemen. And we thought we were going to go in today just with, simple things to talk about. We got Payback on the horizon. We have a great AEW All In pay-per-view coming up. I thought that's all we were going to talk about, but man, the wrestling world has been struck with tragedy, not once, but twice.
Yes, it has, and we're going to get into the most recent story that came out just several hours ago. Bray Wyatt, whose real name is Wyndham Rotunda, passed away at 36 years old.
Dude.
Fucking A. Fucking
Shock.
crazy,
Only
man.
36 years old, man. And I was just, in my room just now, I'm just scrolling through my phone, and then, somebody on Facebook, one of the wrestling pages that I follow, said that Bray Wyatt passed away. And I was like what? And I immediately was doing my research, looking it up, and I saw nothing. I didn't see anything. The only recent news that I was seeing about this guy was about, like what was going to be his plans and for the future, whatever. But this is articles like from, like a week ago or so. You know what I mean? I just like it had to be a hoax or a lie. Didn't believe it. So I was like, whatever. So then my friend hit me up. He asked me the same thing, and I was telling him, I was like, I'm looking right now. I heard about it. I'm looking right now, and I have not found nothing. So then what really caught me was the one that really that got my attention, would believe what was true, sadly. Triple H tweeted that it was true that Bray Wyatt did pass away. But the thing is, it's really sad, man, because he was only 36, and not only that, man, he has a family that he left behind. He has a wife. I think it was like 2 kids or 3 kids.
He has at least 2 kids with JoJo, and he also had, I think, a few kids with his previous wife.
Right. So that's the whole family that he's leaving behind. His brother as well. Let's not forget that.
Also his dad. His dad,
Right.
yeah, his dad basically outlived him. It's fucking crazy.
Sad, man. And we just found out before we went on the air, we just found out that Bray Wyatt, that he had COVID. I didn't realize that COVID was still a thing going on right now, but apparently it is. He had COVID that affected a little bit of a heart condition that he had in the past, and it resulted in him getting a heart attack.
Yes, unfortunately, that did take his life. And I was hearing things about him several weeks ago that he did have a health issue, and that explained why he was gone for so many months, like before WrestleMania, why he disappeared. And that's why, like, a lot of people kind of like, apologize for the things they were saying about him, about like, him being unreliable, him dropping the ball with everything going on. But now that that came out, you were like, okay, I get that makes sense. That explains everything. And you figured he would be coming back soon. And they were even saying in the report that they had confidence that he would make a speedy recovery. But unfortunately, a heart attack has taken his life, and he is no longer with us.
Too soon, man.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, bro, this one definitely is one of the more shocking ones in recent memory.
Too soon at that age, man.
Fuck.
Usually, like when we hear a wrestler passing away, it's like old in age. You know what I mean? Like in their, late 70s, 80s, so on and so forth. But not at this age.
Yeah, kind of similar to the Eddie Guerrero scenario, almost kind of a similar way they both went out. But yeah, 36 years old, he's only 1 year younger than me.
Yeah. And when we look at his career, Kurt, what started as promise, but just it dwindled year after year on how the way it was pretty much how his character was managed. And you kind of like just hoping for high hopes for the guy. When I look back, I know I was very critical of not him winning the WWE Championship. It was I was critical on the fact that he won it at a certain time because I felt like he should have won it earlier. But when I look back at it now, regardless, I'm happy that he did get that opportunity, that moment, though.
He got it twice. He was the champion twice. Oh, my bad. 3 times. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. 3 times.
yeah. I'm mainly talking about the first one. I think the first one is the one where it just like, okay, you know, like good, but I wish it would have happened earlier though. But just seeing him, just genuinely seeing him win it for the first time, that I was really truly happy for him.
Yeah, I mean, look, we had our criticisms about like the way they booked him and the way they used him over the years, but I'll never forget that first year Bray Wyatt and Wyatt family character. That shit was on point.
Yes,
That was one of the
loved
most.
it.
Yeah, I would say other than the Shield and Daniel Bryan during that period, the Wyatts were one of the best parts of the show.
They were. I absolutely loved it, and he had so much. He had such a lot of momentum during that time, especially going into that WrestleMania 30 match with John Cena, and afterwards, he had so much momentum. And I like now is your opportunity. Ride with it, keep the flow, keep going with it. But it just sadly dwindled down slowly after that.
Yeah, he just lost too much. It wasn't just a John Cena loss; it was just multiple losses that followed that. He lost to Chris Jericho a
And
few
not only
pay-per-views
it
that
wasn't just it
afterwards.
was the losses, but it was also the meaningless feuds that they were putting him in.
Yeah, the Dean Ambrose feud I didn't care for that much. Also, he feuded with Ryback briefly, and
Mm,
the feud with Randy Orton started out pretty good, but then as it dragged on, like the matches got like much creepier and weirder. It wasn't as good, but even with that aside, like even with the poor booking in certain areas aside, he still did accomplish a lot. He still got to have a match with John Cena at WrestleMania and with The Undertaker
yeah,
the following year at WrestleMania.
yeah.
And then
Oh yeah, yeah.
the year after that, he got to have a segment with The Rock.
Oh yes. Even though he was hurt, but yeah.
Yeah, he got to do that, and then he got to have a title
Hmm.
match at WrestleMania with Orton. Say what you want about the match, but he actually got to go into WrestleMania as the champion.
Hmm. It's the one thing I really liked about it. I love the character. The character was just very. It was like a strange character, just very spooky and just a surreal character. And at first, when I first saw it, I didn't know what to make of it. But then I remember the movie. Crap, what's that movie called?
You know what they remind me of? You know what they reminded me of? The
What,
family from the movie Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't know if you ever saw that movie.
the original?
Yeah, the original one, like with that crazy ass family that Leatherface lives with. That's what the Wyatt family reminded me of. The original Wyatt family.
It was okay. That's a good point. And then the way he dressed, it was damn it, what's that movie called? Robert De Niro.
Oh, Cape Fear. Oh shit,
Yes,
I was just thinking about that movie the other day.
that's yes. The way he dressed, that's like the inspiration from that movie, from that
Definitely, I could
character.
definitely see that.
Yes, but just I love the entrance and when he comes with the lamp and talking about the eater. That's my favorite Bray Wyatt character. I love that. That was that momentum, and it was very creepy and just like, man, what is this? And then let's not forget you talk about his first two, his WrestleMania run, mainly his first two that comes in my mind. I loved his entrance both at 30 and 31. 30, he had a music performance performing his song. It started like in like a voodoo style entrance, and then you had the music performance. I thought that was just super dope. And then the following year, he has the scarecrows. He's talking about follow the buzzards, and he's walking with these scarecrows. I thought it was so creepy though, but at the same time, it was so very, um, you know, creative and cool at the same time.
The only thing that hurt that entrance was the fact that it was in daylight.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, it was weird.
Oh,
Having him and
I
Undertaker come out in daylight was some weird shit.
oh man, it was kind of like late noon. It was so almost getting darker, but it was still daytime though, man.
Yeah, I was there, man. I was there.
Oh, damn. It kind of see that's. I'm sorry we're going off topic though. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I love when WrestleMania comes to California though, but man, you got to remember when you have those shows on the West Coast. daytime that really affects a lot. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it was a different thing for me too, being there like on the West Coast especially, and then yeah,
Yeah.
having it start at 4 o'clock instead of 7 o'clock. I'm like, shit, this is different.
Yeah. Very different. It was bright.
And then yeah, and WrestleMania was over by 8 o'clock. I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do with the rest of the night?
I'm quite sure you probably did something afterwards, man. But
Yeah, I spent 2 hours trying to find the car I came in with.
that long?
Yeah, bro. I went there with my cousin. And then like yeah, we parked like super far. It took us like 2 hours to find the car. It was fucking nuts. It took us another hour to drive back to San Francisco because the stadium where WrestleMania 31 was, Levi Stadium, is actually an hour outside of San Francisco. It's in Santa Clara.
Yeah, it's in Santa Clara. Yeah. But yeah, back to that. Like those entrances he had was just super dope. I loved it, and just a very creepy character. And then when he came back as the Fiend, that was different. The Fiend character was creative, but it was new, and the fans were really catching up with it.
I
You know,
remember
so
I
it's
remember that SummerSlam you and I actually watched together, the 2019 one. When he came out, the reaction he got, and like the whole presentation of that character, like it's like the real actual debut of the Fiend. Yo, that shit was crazy. That shit was fucking nuts.
it was, like I said, weird but creative though, and you could easily say he's like one of the most creative people in the business, especially during that time, as far as
And
his character.
and recent memory, yes, and recent memory, hands down.
Yeah,
And also like the Mister Rogers shit he was doing on like when he was like be like in his as himself and like this like whole Mister Rogers setting with like the
yeah,
puppets
that was
and
good.
then Alexa Bliss joined it at one point also with like this Harley Quinn type character or
Yeah,
Angelica from Rugrats I should say.
hmm that was so weird when I saw that. I was kind of like, huh, but I was like, okay, I see the dual personalities thing. You know what I mean? It's like, how often do we see that? Never. You know what I mean?
Almost reminds me when Freddy Krueger started becoming a comedian in the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
What do you think? I saw you post that the other day.
Oh, about Freddy versus Jason or Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
I think four.
Yeah, I actually watched it because it was the anniversary of it the other day. I actually watched it, and I'll say this: it's a bad movie. Actually a very bad movie, but for some reason I have a soft spot for it. It has enough entertaining parts of it, and also a good soundtrack where I can't say that I hate it. Even though it is a bad movie, I can't bring myself to hate it.
So I watched all the Scream movies with my girlfriend over the past week, right? I mean that film series, I never really was like hot on it. You know, I was like whatever about it though. I love the suspense behind it about like who's the killer and all that stuff though. But it's one of those horror movies where it's like it's just like it's a silly one. So do you think that's kind of like I don't know, like a little bit similar to how the Nightmare on Elm Street is like the four, and afterwards how it got like it went from scary to got all just comedic.
I'll say this: the first couple of Nightmare on Elm Streets were pretty scary, like the first three, I would say. But then the fourth one, it's like clear where they're starting to make him more of a comedian than a horror movie guy. Like he has these corny one-liners, these like weird ass death scenes, and he's like putting sunglasses on the beach. I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Is this MTV Spring Break? But with the screams, I'll say this about the screams. Admittedly, they're not as good as they go on, but the only
No,
scream I can say that I did not like was the third one.
you know what? My girlfriend will disagree with that. She says the one that she didn't really like was the fourth one.
It wasn't. Look, it's not my favorite, but it was watchable. I liked it for what it was. The fifth one, I also like.
Just the thing with the third one because it just continued because it was like a whole family thing with in the third one you found out like oh like that's the you know what I mean.
Admittedly, I've only seen it like twice, but I was never crazy about it. I love the first one.
Hmm.
Yeah, the first Scream. I remember seeing it in
Hmm.
the theaters. I loved it. I fucking loved the first Scream. I still do today.
Hmm. Hmm.
The first Scream was like creative. It was like kind of like making fun of horror movies in a sense. It was like a horror movie inside of a horror
Hmm.
movie. Also,
Hmm.
good cast too with Nev Campbell, Courtney Cox when she was still on Friends, Drew Barrymore in that opening scene. She bodied it. That movie had a good ass cast and just very well
Hmm.
done overall. Second one
Interesting.
was okay. Second one's
Yeah.
not as good as the first one, but I still like it. It's cool for what it is.
Yeah.
Third one sucked.
It was there.
Fourth one was cool. I liked it for what it was. Fifth one I also liked too. Kind of sad in certain parts, but I liked it.
I like the sixth one.
Actually, did not see the sixth one yet. I still need to watch it.
Yeah, you need to watch it. Me and my girlfriend we watched it a couple weeks ago. I liked it.
Yeah, and damn shame they weren't paying Nev Campbell what she deserved. Some whack ass
Oh, for
shit.
the sixth one,
Yeah,
or
that's why she's not in the sixth one.
oh yeah, okay. Let's see, gotcha.
They should have maybe had Jeff Jarrett kill Dewey in the fifth one with the guitar. Let's pay back for taking the title from him in WCW.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
You know my
Jarrett could have been
girlfriend
the
loves the
killer.
movie Ready to Rumble.
Ew, what the fuck?
You know,
That's not cool.
look, I saw. I was like, "Do you like?" I made fun of her of that, but that's her guilty pleasure. She loves that movie, so.
I'll say Nightmare on Elm Street 4 is my guilty pleasure. That and Problem Child 2. Those are two movies I'll admit that are bad, that are not good, but for some reason I have a soft spot for them.
Hmm.
Also, Freddy versus Jason you could throw in there too.
Really?
Freddy versus Jason was also a bad movie, but I really had fun going to see it in the theaters like the night it came out.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I had been anticipating that movie for years, and like when I finally heard it was coming out, I'm like, "Fuck yeah, this shit is on, bro!" And yeah, like I
Wow.
couldn't get to the theater fast enough that day. Yeah, it was lit up in there, bro. It was fucking lit.
So I want to ask you this about go back to Bray Wyatt. Um, what storyline or what would we say would be like the favorite match of Bray Wyatt?
My favorite match of Bray Wyatt's singles or tag team. Does it matter?
It doesn't matter. I know if you say tag team, I already know what you're gonna say. We both know the answer. It's the six-man tag match from Elimination Chamber 2014.
Yes, between the Wyatts and the Shield. Yes, that's my favorite
Yes.
Bray Wyatt match overall. But if I
Yes.
had to pick my favorite Bray Wyatt singles match, oof, I'm gonna have to go with the Last Man Standing match with John Cena at Payback 2014. I'll go with that one.
Oh. Okay. Hmm. Hmm.
I think that was actually voted match of the year in PWI that year.
Okay. I think for me, when it comes to singles, I think I have to go. Oh wow. I have to go one with Taker at WrestleMania 31 because that was Taker's kind of like his first match back since last year's WrestleMania, and he had the concussion and a lot of people had some doubts like man how well he's going to do, and he actually Bray Wyatt really held up his own with him throughout in that match, and they did a really good job with each other in that match. You know what I mean? So it was for both parts on both Bray Wyatt and Undertaker that night that they really were able to hold each other their own. I love the spots in that match, and it was a great, enjoyable match to watch.
I actually heard that that day earlier that day that he actually sprained his ankle or twisted his ankle
Oh, you serious? The day before?
the day of, like during rehearsals.
Oh, oh, wow! Oh, wow, you did that.
Yeah,
Pretty
but the match
interesting.
was still fine. Regardless, the match was still fine. People liked
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'll say yeah that match he had with Cena at Payback 2014 was great. Also, the Hell in a Cell he had with Roman in 2015 was a good match too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. I haven't watched that one in forever.
Yeah, they
Hmm.
feuded for a minute now that I look back at it.
They did. They did.
Yeah, that original Wyatt family with Brody and Eric Rowan, that shit was gold. Braun Strowman was still good too when they added him. That I liked it when they added him also, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that original run, holy shit! Like you knew it was on when they came out. When they came out,
They
like
did.
you did not
And
want to
then
be in the ring waiting for them.
no, and then like how do we forget the rocking chair, man? Like that,
Ooh.
dude.
Also,
I
oh
was-
fuck, another great Bray Wyatt match. I forgot to mention the match with Daniel Bryan at the 2014 Royal Rumble.
oh, I heard a good. Oh yeah, that was like the only good thing about that night was that match.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. That the rest of that show is not very fondly remembered, and for good reason. But that match
Yeah.
was the one good thing on it. If you're gonna ever go back and
Mm.
watch that show, just watch that match and then just turn it off right after.
And let's not forget that creepy little sit up that he did in the ring.
Oh, shoot the spider shit. Oh man,
Yes.
some arachnophobia shit.
You know where I think he got that from?
Where?
I was just watching the original Exorcist movie with my girlfriend and her cousin, her girlfriend about like it was like a month ago. The girl who is possessed by the demon Kurt, I'm kid you not, there's a scene where she did that.
Oh yeah, I think I remember. I haven't watched the movie in years, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. She did that. There was a scene where like the mom's freaking out or whatever, like talking to the like priest or whatever, I don't know. And the girl, Linda Blair, she there's a scene where she comes downstairs walking like that. So when I
Oh
saw
shit.
that, the first thing that came to my mind was, "Oh my god, Bray Wyatt!" I was like,
Bro, I have to say, out of any horror movie,
Mm.
The Exorcist is probably the one I would have the hardest time watching again.
Really? It was okay when it comes
It's the
to
concept of it.
this.
It's the concept of it that creeps me out.
Oh, like the fact that
Like
you
it,
could get possessed and all that, or
yeah, like if God forbid that happened in real life, like that part of it creeps me out. I'm like, fuck. All right, but yeah, anyway, yeah. So it's crazy. Bray Wyatt's had us talking about horror movies the last 10 minutes.
I know that's because I'm telling you, dude, with his creativity, I think that's where he gets it from. If I had an interview with him, man, if I had ever had an interview with him, I would ask him these questions like, dude, did you like get these ideas from watching horror movies, or did you? It's very obvious. I've seen The Exorcist. I saw that scene. I saw what you do in the ring. Was that had to be an idea? Had to.
You could definitely tell he got some inspiration from that, and also the same thing with Taker. Taker, you could definitely get a lot of horror movie elements from his character,
True though. You also I remember because you remember Bruce
especially
Pritchard.
the Ministry of Darkness stuff.
Oh Lord.
All right, but anyway, yeah, the Fiend character was great. It was like kind of like a breath of fresh air, and it kind of breathed new life into him because wasn't kind of the same for a few years. But then that whole Hell in a Cell bullshit they did with him
Oh, with
with
Seth Rollins.
Rollins, yeah, shit was so
Yeah.
bad.
Damn.
I'll never forget like when that show went off the air, like when the lights went out, like after the whole Fiend character like got back up and then put Rollins in the Mandible Claw. Like when the lights went out, all you could hear was the boos. So the boos were going everywhere.
I think the one thing that weirded me out about his matches is early that first stage of the Fiend character. I did not understand the concept of how, if you remember, his matches they were little like they had the red lighting, they were dark.
I kind of like Kane when he first debuted, like his early
Yeah, I thought that
matches.
was weird, man. I was like, why are they doing that, man? Like they don't need to do that. Like I get the character, I get the whole concept, I get it though, but you don't have to do that in his matches.
Yeah, but eventually they got away with it. And despite the horrible finish to Hell in a Cell, which was horrible, they did eventually put the title on him. But then the Saudi Arabia show happened in the match with Goldberg.
Yeah, that was the nail in the coffin right there.
Yeah, I think after that it was kind of a wrap for him in general. Like just after that, it just
Yeah.
was never the same. He was like still around here and there, but it just was never on the same level again after that Goldberg loss.
They didn't learn their lesson from the Kevin Owens situation.
No, they did not. This was worse than the Kevin Owens one.
You thought they would have learned, but they didn't.
Yeah, but honestly, looking back at it now, that shit's not important anymore because look, the dude's leaving behind a wife, kids, his
Yeah.
father, his
Hmm.
brothers, his sisters, whole family,
Yeah.
friends. Yeah, like at the end of the day, like that shit's the
I know.
hardest pill to swallow.
Only 36 years old, man.
Yeah, my condolences to his family, his friends, everybody. I know this is horrible for all of you, and I know it's a rough loss. You would have never thought, like with all this stuff going on with him earlier this year, like with him missing time and whatever, that it was going to lead to this happening.
Right.
Fuck.
Our condolences to him and his family. Prayers. Sad, man.
It's unfortunate this happens all too often, in the wrestling industry, because I know us as fans have experienced it more times than we'd like to remember. Because obviously, as NBA fans, also when Kobe, it happened with him, it was kind of like a shock because like it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really happen much with basketball, but with wrestling, it happens all too often. I think we get hit with like at least like two major wrestling deaths a year, like on average.
Yeah, average. Yeah, average. It's mostly two a year.
And also, we had, and in addition to Bray Wyatt, yesterday we also had the news of Terry Funk, hardcore legend, wrestling icon, also passing away at 79 years old.
Yeah, I don't know what was the cause of his death though, but 79 years old, man. That's one. He, he had one hell of a wrestling career. I just found out he was in a movie as well.
He was in a few movies, I believe. I think he was in Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze. He was in
Yeah.
Roadhouse. Also, I think he
Mm-hmm.
was in that movie Over
Mm-hmm.
the Top, that arm wrestling movie with Stallone. I think he might have been in that too.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's another one. That's another one right there.
Over the Top.
But man, he's a. We talk about. Here's one thing when I think about Terry Funk. We talk about a lot of great wrestlers that came out from the state of Texas. Great, it's a long list. You have to put Terry Funk in that list.
Absolutely.
I mean, on that list. I'm sorry. Yeah,
From the Double Cross Ranch.
yeah. Amarillo, Texas.
I've actually driven through Amarillo, Texas before.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, when I was driving from Florida to Vegas, when I moved to Vegas, yeah, I had to drive through Texas and
Mm.
I drove through Amarillo.
No, okay. But man, he just and I think what he's really remembered for, like he's like just with being with Cactus Jack with Mick Foley and those hardcore death matches, man, and just he's a guy who's not afraid to just get needy and gritty in the ring, just like Mick Foley. You know what I mean?
He was basically Mick Foley's mentor. Mick Foley got a lot of his
Mm.
style from Terry Funk and also Bruiser Brody. Those were like I think probably Foley's two biggest influences. Yeah, those matches with between Foley and Funk were legendary. I never really got to see like the ones in Japan, like those death matches, but the few times I
Hmm.
did see them wrestle, like holy shit, these dudes, like you would never think they were best friends from the shit they would do to each other in the ring.
Right. Oh man. I'm sorry. What year did he get inducted into the Hall of Fame again?
I believe 2009 with his brothers also, Dory Funk,
Ah, okay.
and also another great feud that Funk was in was his feud in 1989 with Ric Flair.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. I saw some pictures about that, about how he had some good matches with him as well.
Yeah, basically after Ric Flair's feud with Steamboat wrapped up, like after that last match, that's when Terry Funk attacked him and pile drived him outside of the ring, and that's what started their feud.
Mm.
They had the match of the Great American Bash that year, which was good, and their most
Mm.
memorable match was the I Quit match they had at Clash of the Champions in November of '89.
No, no pun intended.
That match was wild too. That match kind of like brought out Ric Flair's like mean streak and like brought out like his ruggedness.
Right, right, right.
Kind
I
of like
see.
the full look, kind of how like the Mankind match brought that out of Shawn. The
Hmm.
I Quit match with Terry Funk brought that out of Flair.
Oh, wow. That was a good analogy.
Yeah, it was a good ass match. You should check it out on the network when you get a chance.
Okay.
Yeah, that was voted the feud of the year that year. The Funk and Flair feud.
89?
Yeah, voted feud of the year over Hogan and Savage. Those are probably like two of the main feuds I would say Funk is known for. I remember he was in WWE like in '85, '86. He was on WrestleMania too. He was a tag team with his
I
brother.
saw I saw a clip. It was what was that one show that Vince McMahon hosted with the wrestlers, the interviews?
Tuesday Night Titans is what the show was called.
I believe, yeah. I remember they had some funny. They had this segment where Vince is at a bar and he's with Lord Alfred Hayes. He's at like they're in Texas and he's at a bar talking to Terry Funk.
Oh shit. Yeah,
Yeah,
Terry Funk had a match with Hogan on Saturday Night's Main Event once back then too.
really.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, crazy.
He wasn't there for that long, but yeah, he was still around for that brief period. But
So that was his first run, and his second run was '98.
Yeah, the '98.
Chainsaw Charlie, right?
Yeah, the '98 run. Yeah, when he came back as Chainsaw
Yeah,
Charlie, and probably the
yeah,
most memorable moment, probably in this whole WWE run period, happened when him and Cactus Jack were having a match on Raw, and they both fallen. They're both in the dumpster, and then the New Age Outlaws locked them in the dumpster, and then pushed the dumpster off the stage. Bro,
damn,
that shit was wild. That night I watched that shit, I could not believe my eyes.
damn, over the stage.
Yeah, I was mad too. I was fucking heated when they did that shit. Because like I hated the Outlaws before that because of the shit they were doing the LOD. But when they pulled this
Mhm.
shit off, I'm like, bro, I hate these dudes' guts. I really hope I can one day I come to a show and I can jump over the railing and get at them. That's how mad I was.
Damn.
Yeah, I think arguably they were the best heels in the company at that point, in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was some gruesome ass shit.
man.
And then they came back at the end of the night, at the end of the show, after even going to the hospital and all that. They came back at the end of the night to try to get revenge. Terry Funk was like crawling on the ramp, like trying to crawl down the ramp. That shit was crazy.
Damn.
Also, in addition to what he's known for, besides those things, is being the godfather of ECW.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like he had it was like a match where all the fans were just throwing a bunch of chairs in the ring.
Oh shit, I remember. I know that clip. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And he was a big reason why ECW became as popular as it did, and also especially he was a big reason why they got that pay per view, that first pay per view in '97,
Wow.
which he actually won the title in the main event of when he beat Raven.
Oh. Okay, okay.
Yeah, he had a three-way match before that to decide who was going to get a match with Raven. He ended up winning that, and then he had the match with Raven afterwards, beat Raven for the title, and the show literally went off the
Mm,
air right after.
wow.
Yeah, the feed like literally cut out like right after the match ended.
Damn.
Yeah, kind of like SummerSlam '02 with Brock's title win, but worse.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. You know, it's funny. That's weird how you bring that up though, because that's funny how SummerSlam kind of like it went off the air like so fast after that. I thought that was weird. I was like, he went as soon as the match was over, like literally like not even a minute later. It was like 30 seconds later. It goes off the air.
Yeah, it was crazy, but that's another story. But yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, Terry Funk was also a big part of the Beyond the Mat documentary. They actually follow him as
Yeah, that one.
they're actually
Hmm.
following him as he's like getting prepared for his quote unquote retirement, and he has this like match with Bret Hart at this one show, like at his retirement show, and then they give him like the lifetime heavyweight title afterwards, give him a big ovation. It's a whole big moment. It was nice. It was a nice celebration for him. I know the retirement didn't last obviously, but it was a definitely well deserved for what that dude did. That dude's career spanned like 5 decades.
Wow. Ooh. What did he do afterwards after his career? Was he still like working, in the back for the company? Like just like production maybe or
Not that I know, not that
like
I know of. I saw that he retired in 2017. He was on Dark Side of the Ring this
oh,
past season. On this past season of Dark Side, he was in one of the episodes.
right. Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was the Abdullah the Butcher episode. I believe he was in.
Hmm.
Yeah, unfortunately, he passed away, but it's different from the Bray Wyatt story where like he was old. He was a much older man.
They didn't reveal like what was the cause, did they?
Not yet. The cause of death has not been revealed, but I will say
Right.
SmackDown's going to definitely be a much different show tomorrow night, considering
True.
Bray Wyatt especially, and also Terry Funk.
Yeah, very true. Man.
Yeah, I think SmackDown tomorrow night is going to be very similar to like the Eddie Guerrero show from '05 and also the Owen show from '99. I think it's going
Yeah.
to kind of be that vibe.
Yeah. Rest in peace to both of those legends, man, and our condolences to their friends and family.
Yes, condolences to their family, their friends, in this rough time they're going through, and it's unfortunate that they're both no longer here. But I can definitely say for sure, as a wrestling fan of 29 years, that neither one of them will ever, ever be forgotten.
Never. Any wrestler that has
No
passed
fucking
away,
way.
any wrestler that we've seen grown up has passed away will never be forgotten from us. That's any wrestler, so, and especially with the two that recently just passed away just now. Um, they will never be forgotten ever.
Not at all. But let's get into some other wrestling news, some less sad wrestling news. This past Friday night on SmackDown, it was live from Toronto, Canada. And in the main event of SmackDown, we had a match between Edge and Sheamus for the very first time one on one. And what many people were saying throughout the week would be Edge's final match.
Yeah, and it was the perfect setting to do it in his hometown of Toronto, Canada. Love the wrestling ties, by the way. Showing love for his Toronto Maple Leafs. Loved it. Good match, great ending, emotional ending.
And his wife and his kids were there also in the front row.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a great match, actually, Phil. It was a good 20-minute match. Very solid. Wasn't expecting anything less. It's crazy. Of
Mm-hmm.
all the years they were in WWE together, it was the first time they wrestled one-on-one.
Yeah, I was like really like trying to. It's like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Did they work with each other in 2010? Because even though I wasn't watching it back then, no, but like,
They probably did in tag matches, but as far as like a one-on-one straight-up match, they never once.
yeah. But yeah, it was a great ending. 25 years. But what was it a couple of days ago? I was hearing that WWE rejected his offer to be re-signed, and I was like really confused. I was like, what's going on? I thought you were like done, but no. And then I was hearing a rumor that because of that he may go to AEW. So then this morning he dropped a video about how he was pretty much clearing everything, just the whole situation about his contract. Like there is no hard feelings between him and his company. He still has love for the WWE. You know what I mean? Kurt, I mean, kind of like, what do you think about this? Like, when you clear this whole thing up, you think this maybe just a big misunderstanding? I don't know what was the whole point of WWE not kind of like getting the whole contract situation down. I don't. What was?
Well, basically, what happened was Edge put out a video this morning, like at his house, like drinking coffee and stuff, and then he was basically talking about how there was like never any like extreme offer. I'm sorry, he said there was never really any like extreme demand he had for WWE to like re-sign him, and like none of that like
Mhm.
stuff that's being reported went down, and that he doesn't know for sure what he's going to do yet. Like he said in the video that he kind of like needs time, kind of similar to what he said in his promo on SmackDown on Friday after the show went off the air, that he just needs time to spend with his family to think about things and like think about what his next move is going to be.
True.
His
True. Yeah.
contract with WWE doesn't officially expire until next month.
Oh, right. Okay.
So if people are thinking he's going to show up at All In London this weekend, that's not happening.
No.
And there were rumors he was going to go to AEW 4 years ago before he eventually like returned and came back.
Hmm.
But then that he came to Vince about it first, and then Vince said, "No, if you're going to return, you're going to return here." And then yeah, that basically was the end of that. But with his contract expiring next month, I don't want to say that it will happen. I don't think it will personally, but anything is possible, bro.
Yeah, it is true. That's true. It's just everybody was just kind of like, oh my god, and that's a good thing that Edge kind of like took it upon himself and just cleared all the smoke. Just get the elephant out of the room, as the old saying goes.
Because rumors always run rampant all the time. They always,
Hmm.
spiral out of control sometimes. And yeah, I guess in that sense, he felt the need to clear it up. And there's also on the flip side that he could be maybe possibly going to AEW, but he doesn't want to let it slip or reveal it yet.
Yeah, we just have to wait and see what happens.
But whatever, if he's saying that he just needs time to think about things and figure things out, I believe him.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't believe that was his last match. I just think, like, especially after what he said after the match was over, that that was just his last match in Toronto.
That's I don't know. That's maybe how I was kind of feeling it too. Maybe because of the fact it was coming to Toronto, it was kind of like having those raw emotions about it. maybe that's I was kind of like maybe I was seeing it, but then a part of me was like, I think this is it for him, but apparently it's not.
It could be because he even said that like after the match was over, he felt really great about it. He said it was one of the best nights of his career, and that
Mm,
he just like, kind of felt to himself like, "Damn, can it get any better than this?" Like he doesn't know how he
hmm
can top like that match on Friday. That's what he said in that video he put out this morning.
mm, true, true.
Yeah, it was a great match. Like if that ends up being his last match, that's not a bad way to go out by any stretch.
In your hometown, no way.
And a great match with Sheamus, who actually was the one who helped train him to get back in the ring. I don't know if you know that story.
That's yeah, I know because he talked about how he helped him for his comeback when he came back at the Royal Rumble 3 years ago. So that I thought when he mentioned that's the perfect guy to do your last match with.
I don't know what he's gonna do next. I think I kind of feel like in a way he's running out of opponents, and he's even admitted himself that it's a lot harder for him to like get ready for matches and also to recover from matches these days. Obviously,
Yeah,
because he's
because you're getting
older.
older.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's older. He doesn't do it as often, also. So that's another part of it.
Hmm.
Who knows? Anything is possible. He could end up wrestling another match at WrestleMania next year. He could end up retiring, never wrestling again. He could end up in AEW like in October sometime. Anything is possible.
True.
That's the motto I want to live my life by from now on. Anything is possible.
Hmm.
Just like Kevin Garnett said in '08 in the end of the finals.
Oh Lord, don't say that.
Anyway, okay, enough about that. All right, so let's get back to Edge real fast. So it was a nice 25-year celebration of Edge's career because they've been doing that celebration like pretty much throughout the summer. And then the SmackDown before, the one that just passed, he came out like randomly. It wasn't even advertised, and he said like next week I want to have the match with Sheamus. And then we fast forward to last Friday's SmackDown. The match went down. It was great. Great way to end the show. I like the celebration they had with them in the back afterwards, where like they're toasting like a pint together and they're
Mm,
just kicking it together.
yeah, yeah, I love that.
Yeah, but if that is Edge's last match, that's a good way to go out.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I mean that's the perfect way to do it. You want to wrestle with a guy who pretty much helped you on your comeback, right? And more importantly, you wrestled your last match in your hometown, in front of your friends and your family.
Yeah, and he's definitely on the Mount Rushmore of Canadian wrestlers, that's for sure.
Yes, 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 yes. Absolutely. It's Bret Hart, Edge, Chris Jericho, Trish Stratus.
Okay, I'll say Brett, Edge, Jericho, and Owen Hart.
Okay.
Sorry, Trish.
You better be sorry. You like- no, it's all good. I respect that. I knew you were gonna put Owen. I'm sorry, Owen, but like, yeah, I had to put Trish on there though. Like,
We'll get into Trish in a few minutes. We'll get into that that feud in a few minutes. But
yeah.
Edge, especially in the second run, had a lot of great matches, especially in 2021.
Oh my God. Yes.
His 2021 was a
Yes,
great.
he did.
His 2021, he won the Royal Rumble. He main evented
Hmm.
WrestleMania. He had the great feud with Rollins, the three great matches with Rollins. Yeah, his 2021 was mad fire.
It was. Oh my God. Wow.
Obviously, the return of the Royal Rumble in 2020 was amazing.
Hmm. And then let's not forget the feud he had with Randy Orton.
Yeah, that was a good feud. The match at Backlash was very good. And the match he ended up getting hurt in, that match was very good.
Yeah. It just again, it just oh my, it hurts me, man. It really hurts me, dude, because that feud was like, oh my God, like it's getting like so intense and all that stuff and personal. And then boom, COVID happens and then no fans.
Yeah, I think that match had one of the best stories going into WrestleMania that year, but the COVID
Yeah.
circumstances, I think, hurt that match the most out of any of the matches.
It hurts me, man, just talking about it.
I think the Undertaker and AJ Styles match kind of benefited in a way from the COVID thing because of what they did with their match.
Oh yeah, because it wasn't. I mean, because it wasn't nowhere in the ring. It was all outside in the different areas. So
You know
yeah,
what
of course, it was
you know
benefiting
what the
from that.
funniest line was when Undertaker gets there and like AJ Styles is waiting for him. AJ Styles says, "Oh, did you get your wife's permission to stay out this late?"
Oh my! Oh yeah, I remember that. That was foul. A low blow right there.
Yeah, I guess Michelle McCool is kind of like Stu's girlfriend in The Hangover.
Wow. But but yeah, that feud that Edge had with Orton, that was a good feud though. But just damn it, COVID just had a
But yeah,
yeah.
that's what I was saying. Like Undertaker and AJ kind of benefited from the whole COVID thing with their match, but the Edge and Randy Orton match was probably the one most hurt because of the whole COVID thing.
That's what I was hearing the most about from that WrestleMania was the match between Edge and Orton. So
I'm not gonna say it was bad. I don't want to say it was bad, but it just dragged, and yeah, just not having fans there for it really hurt it. Like that match specifically, that was hurt by the fans not being
no, I
there.
mean it's similar to Drew McIntyre's title reign that year, where it's like I am so happy for him winning the championship and getting his moment, but you're like, damn it, the fans were not there. You know,
Yeah, I will say though that 2021 run he had was gold.
easily his best,
I just wish
easily,
I was kind of
easily.
bummed he didn't win the title though at least once. That would have been nice.
I know too, though that I was. That I think. You know what? I think for the past few years, that is the one moment for me personally where I had that was like more of like a shocker to me, where I was like, I wasn't expecting that. Look, I was shocked that Cody Rhodes didn't win at WrestleMania this year, but I think Edge not winning the title that year with the pretty much with the storyline, with the injury and all that stuff, and I really thought Edge was going to win that title that night, and him not winning was a big shocker to me.
Yeah, it was a bummer. Definitely put a like damper on the night. Although it was a great match, regardless, I was definitely bummed that
Yeah,
he
it was
didn't.
a great match though, but it was just yeah. I need to. I keep saying to myself, I need to watch that WrestleMania again.
Yeah, just a bummer that he didn't win at the end, but it was still great regardless. Especially that one spot where he breaks off the part of the chair and uses it to choke out Roman by the mouth. Holy shit!
Hmm. I think my no, my favorite spot of that night was when I remember Roman had powerbombed Daniel Bryan through the announce table from the steel steps, and then out of nowhere, Edge just comes out of nowhere and just spears him off of the steps onto
Oh,
the
that
mat.
was so dope. Oh, that was so
That
dope.
was my favorite. That was my favorite spot, dude. Oh my god, you make me want to watch that match again.
Yo,
Huh?
watch Edge go to AEW and then him and Bryan Danielson can feud again.
Oh Lord! Oh my god!
Yeah, it's so crazy. They had that three way at WrestleMania that year. They had that three way, and Bryan Danielson was like gone from the company within like a month after it.
Yeah, yeah, crazy.
But that was a good last way for him to go out. Like that for that to probably be his last WrestleMania. That was a great way for him to go out.
Hmm. I agree.
Even though he said he felt weird, like when he came to the ring that night, he kind of felt like he didn't belong there anymore. He still bodied it. That match is
Oh,
something to be proud of.
the fans helped embody it, man. That was like the biggest importance of it. That's one of my. That's why I like that WrestleMania a lot because it was like, you had a year ago, like the year prior, you had no fans, and you're back to having fans. Through all the COVID mess, and you having the fans back there, and it was like it felt good, and then having the crowd there, it made it feel like just it was very genuine.
All right, but yeah, let's get back to Edge real fast. He also had that great feud with Rollins, which featured that match at SummerSlam. That SummerSlam that you were there for.
Yes, and I love the Brood entrance that he did. I'm glad I was there, and I took a video of it, and I posted on on our Instagram page. But yeah, that was I loved it. I was glad to be a part of it.
They had that match. They had the match at Madison Square Garden, and then they had the Hell in a Cell at Crown Jewel, which was a fucking great match.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Damn.
Yeah, my match of the year for 2021, WWE wise at least, it's two of them have Edge in there.
Hmm.
And then he started the whole Judgment Day thing briefly, even though he was only in it for 2 months. And then he ended up getting kicked out by Finn Balor.
Which at one point where I did not like at the time, I was just like, wait a minute, that's way too soon, man.
I heard multiple different stories. Like one reason why they did it is because Edge wanted to feud with Finn Balor, and he figured that the only way it would be done well is if he turned babyface and Finn Balor turned Judgment Day against
Mm.
him. And then I heard the other story was that the reason why they turned on Edge and turned Edge into a good guy again is because of the Cody injury.
Oh, okay, I see. Hmm.
Yeah, but the thing was, after like that same night when like Cody went away from the injury, they did the angle where Judgment Day turned on Edge, and Edge wasn't on TV for 2 months. He
Right,
didn't come back until SummerSlam.
right, right.
Yeah, but regardless of the reason why, like it was weird at first. I'll admit it was weird in the beginning, but then when Dominic joined and the whole Dominic and Rhea thing started popping off and started clicking, I think that's when Judgment Day was kind of like on a
Yeah.
better path.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And ultimately it worked out. And look, it's the most interesting storyline on Raw these days.
It is with the oh my god with the dilemma. Like, could we get to, could we like switch our subjects now? Like, because yeah, we talking about Judgment Day, and now like the whole situation is just it's really spiraling out of control now.
Before we get to Judgment Day, let me just say one more thing. Let's talk about Edge real fast. Favorite singles Edge match and favorite Edge tag team match.
From his second run.
Just in general, from his first and second run, favorite period.
Oh my, that oh wow. If okay, okay, if it's singles, I'm gonna just be Pacific. For his first run, my favorite singles match is his match. Oh, damn it, it's a tough one. I can't. It's so hard to pick. It's either in both those matches are against John Cena. It's the one. It's the TLC match against John Cena at Unforgiven 2006, and it's his Last Man Standing match against John Cena at Backlash in 2009.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Though I'm telling you right now, Kurt, I love that rivalry. And somebody said a long time ago that that rivalry is similar to Yankees versus Red Sox on the hatred, and that is so damn true. Because the hatred those two had for each other at that time was very intense. As far as tag team, it's the TLC match from SummerSlam 2000 between Edge Christian, the Hardys, and the Dudley Boys for his first run. But as a runner up, as an honorable mention, I would like to put Edge, Rey Mysterio versus Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle from No Mercy
Yeah, also a very
2002.
close second.
Yeah. For his second run, singles. um, singles. I'll have to put say the Hell in a Cell match against Seth Rollins.
Okay, it's a fair pick.
Yeah.
I'll say my favorite tag team match of Edge is probably, I will also agree, the TLC from 2000, SummerSlam. I'll pick that one. Favorite singles match with
Right.
Edge? For his first run, I'll probably say, if I had to pick one, this is gonna be tough, but I will say my favorite singles match from Edge in his first run would be his match with Eddie Guerrero on SmackDown in 2002.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah, okay. That's an early one.
Ooh, that was his best match that year, I thought. His matches
Mm.
with Angle that year were good too, and also the tag match with No
Mm-hmm.
Mercy. But I would say, as far as
Mm-hmm.
singles matches that whole year in '02, that match with Eddie was the best.
Oh yes.
All right, so yeah, I'll say those are my favorite singles match would be the Eddie Guerrero one, and from his second run, I will also say my favorite match overall was the match with Rollins at Hell in a Cell.
Okay.
The Judgment Day stuff was still good. I liked it. It wasn't my favorite of what he did, but I liked it. But the best match out of all with the Judgment Day stuff was the mixed tag they had it on Elimination Chamber. That shit was good.
Okay.
All right, but if that was Edge's last match, it was definitely a great way for him to go out. And whatever he does next, I wish him the best. And I'm sure it'll be best for him and his family and
Oh, of course.
make him happy.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it any better. Of course.
All right, so let's get into Raw real fast. So we had Raw this past
Ooh.
Monday with a further disintegration of Judgment Day.
It's too much happening. Just ever since Damian Priest won the Money in the Bank contract, it's just been utter chaos within the group. To the point now, Rhea Ripley's now is like, okay, I don't like this. Now she's really putting her foot down.
Oh, and you won't like Rhea Ripley when she's angry. That is not a other side you want to be on because she is not having that shit.
Right.
Yeah, she basically pulled one of them out and saying like, "No, you guys are gonna team up. You guys are teaming up, and that's final."
And there's been a lot of, pretty much over the past couple of weeks where there's been times where, just like at SummerSlam, Finn Balor would, want the briefcase, but then his opponent would hit him with the briefcase and it would cost him the match. It has happened on a couple of occasions so far. And that is one of the reasons why that Finn Balor and Damian Priest are really butting heads with each other right now. So it's become very chaotic right now within the group.
Yeah, and that Jay McDowell dude was saying like, "You guys need to get rid of the briefcase because that briefcase is what's becoming
This curse.
an issue for you guys." And yeah, it's getting between you two.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen, man.
I do know what is going to happen is that you're finally going to get the match you want, which is going to be Rhea Ripley against
That's
Raquel
exactly what I was about to
Rodriguez.
get into. That's exactly what I was about to get into. I was going to say that. But yeah, with that being said, yes, I'm going to actually it's that match and there's another match that I'm happy about. But yes, it is Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez at Payback finally.
And if it's anything like the match they had in NXT in the beginning of 2021, the last woman standing match, we are in for a match to watch.
We are. And I'm excited for it. And look, they both need this. Rhea Ripley needs this. Like the three things need this. They need it, and the title needs it because, like I said, ever since she won the championship at WrestleMania, she just hasn't. I haven't seen her do anything with the title. She's just been having matches with Natalia. That's it. You know what I mean? So with this, you have a strong opponent that's going to push you. We need this. They need it, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, because Rhea Ripley needs like some credible challengers. Like she hasn't had like a real credible,
Yeah.
she hasn't had like a credible feud or like really match to that degree since WrestleMania.
No, no, she hasn't. I'm just like, we're at the end of August, and I'm just like, damn, WrestleMania was in April, and you haven't done anything since then. That's a head scratcher right there, you know?
Well, I don't want to say she hasn't done anything. Like she's still a part of like of the major storylines and whatnot, but
I know, but like other than the storylines, I'm talking about just like outside of that. You got to remember, you got to have matches on your own. You got to defend your title and all that stuff. You haven't been doing that. That's where I scratched my head at. Despite of you having the big storylines, and you're part of a good faction that's under the spotlight. You still need to like work on your own, have your own matches, and set the tone for yourself. And she just hasn't been doing that.
yeah. But one thing she did get from Edge that I also wanted to mention real fast was her pin, the way she pins her opponents. If you remember, One Night Stand 2006.
I can't.
My brother actually sent me the video of that. He had never seen it before until he saw it online last week, and he sent it to me. I'm like, bro, this shit is like 17 years old. You're just now seeing this.
Wow.
Yeah, he couldn't believe it.
I tell you, I get turned on by that when I see that. Anybody would, though. Everybody's like, should have been me.
Damn.
But yeah, that match.
I can think of a lot of girls that like to pin that way, but that's another story for another time.
But yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have that match for the World Women's Championship. The matches they have so far, I'm so looking forward to. On to the next match. We're going to have the final ending conclusion to this Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch feud. But I wasn't expecting the stipulation. And ladies and
I
gentlemen,
was.
this past week on Raw is going to be contested in a steel cage match at Payback.
Which will mark the very
Wow.
first time Trish Stratus has ever done a steel cage match. This is something apparently she wanted to get off of her bucket list. She never got to do this previously in her first run, so she got to do the ladder
Crazy.
match, be part of Money in the Bank, which is great. And now she's gonna get to do a cage match,
Mhm.
and hopefully this will be the final blow off to this feud.
I think it will be. I think it will be, and
I have to be.
I'm looking forward to it. Huh?
I think the match will be great, but I have to be honest. I haven't been crazy about this feud. This feud hasn't like really been one of my favorite parts of
Well,
the
because the
show.
reason why though, because you got, I mean, they just, if I be quite honest, they kind of just like they've been like kind of at some juncture in the feud, there was a little bit of a like the wave went up and down a little bit, you know, kind of.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the match they had at Night of Champions was cool, but overall, like the stuff they've been doing on TV, I mean, it's been okay. It's
The
been
only
okay.
thing that was interesting that really piqued my interest, what they did was they had this segment on Miss TV.
Yeah, but regardless, I think the cage match will still be good. I think that'll still deliver at the
Yeah,
end of
yeah,
the
yeah,
day,
yeah.
and then
Oh
we can
yeah,
move, and then Becky can move on.
yes. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. And then last but not least, I'm oh my god, I've been wanting to talk about this for a while now. We're finally talking about it and I'm glad. So a couple weeks ago, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Shinsuke Nakamura are in a six-man tag match against Judgment Day. After the match, and in celebration, Seth Rollins turns around and boom, Shinsuke Nakamura hits Seth Rollins for no reason. And we're kind of like, just like, what the hell he did that for? But in the back of my mind as a fan, I'm glad that he did that. Ever since Shinsuke Nakamura came back to the WWE this year, he hasn't really done anything. Yeah, he was in a Money in the Bank ladder match, but he hasn't really done anything special. He hasn't been put in a good feud storyline. Now he is. Now he's in the world title picture, and I'm happy for him. And he's going to get that opportunity against Seth Rollins at Payback, but it's bigger. The storyline has now become very more personal and deeper after what we saw last week, after watching that promo. But before that, Shinsuke Nakamura was talking to Seth Rollins in the ring, and Shinsuke whispered something to Seth Rollins' ear. And I was like, what did he say to his ear? And then it was revealed about the following week. I know about your back. So apparently, and this is actually true, ladies and gentlemen, Seth Rollins actually has back problems, spinal back problems. And the fact that they're using this in this storyline is great. Shinsuke Nakamura knows all about that. He's like, you know what, this back problems, despite you being the world champion and being on top, your back problems is your downfall. That's your pain. And I love it.
Yeah, it was a good part to add to the storyline. I like that promo package they did with Nakamura on Monday. It was well
Mm-hmm.
done. They had it all in
Mm-hmm.
subtitles. It all worked perfectly. And yes, it
Mm-hmm.
definitely makes it a lot more interesting for the match.
Yes. He needs it, dude. I'm look like he needs it. Like he hasn't had. I don't remember him being like in a good feuded storyline. Not since what 2018.
Yeah, the AJ stuff, which ended up kind of like being a letdown.
Yeah, man, 5 years ago, dude. You know, you gotta come on, push him, man. And when he finally turned heel, I was like, finally, do something with him, man. Don't just have somebody come back and just, oh, we're just gonna put you in these little tic tac matches and just no, like use him, man. Do it. And they're finally gonna use him. Um, I don't know. I'm not gonna give my predictions yet. I need to wait till next week because we have one more week until payback.
We'll wait till
So,
then, but also at Payback, we're more than likely going to get a rematch from this past Monday on Raw as Chad Gable became the first person to defeat Gunther, although it was by
ooh,
countouts.
oh my god. Oh my god.
But this definitely puts him in line for a rematch, and it's more than likely going to happen at the pay per view.
Of course. Oh, of course. That yeah, of course. I love the spot though, but man, his first loss though, even though it was a count out, but still though, Kurt. Oh
Actually,
my
I heard
god.
actually I heard Raw got killed in the ratings on Monday because of the football game.
Over a preseason game? Are you
Yeah, but
serious?
the only part of the show that held up well, like the only part of the show where the ratings were like consistently solid, was during the Chad Gable and Gunther match.
Okay.
It was the best part of the show.
Yeah, I agree. But I love football, but not no damn preseason. I'm sorry though. But God. But anyway, But yeah, definitely that's the perfect way to get a rematch for the title at Payback. I love it. But man, that's so crazy what happened though in that
When
sequence.
he suplexes him over the railing.
His reaction after the match, Kurt.
Yeah, but first he suplexes him over the railing, and then yeah, he gets counted
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
and yeah, his reaction was
Mm-hmm.
priceless, and so was Samantha Irvin's reaction when she had to announce it.
It's funny. Oh my god, I love it though, man. I love it. I'm really looking forward to I'm looking forward to Payback though.
Yeah, and that's gonna be like probably the last match, like before he officially breaks the record.
Yeah. Oh wow, crazy.
Yeah, but we'll see
But
what
yeah,
happens with
we're
Payback. Payback seems like a predominantly Raw show for the most part, because like honestly, I don't know what they're gonna do with the Jimmy Uso thing, especially tomorrow night with the whole Bray Wyatt thing. But they had that storyline a few weeks ago where he quit, where he said he quit SmackDown, he quits
that was
WWE.
weird.
So maybe if they are gonna possibly wait to do the first match at WrestleMania, this is their way of doing it. Like have Jay disappear for a while.
True. Huh. See how long they'll hold it up if it's true. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Payback, and also one pay per view that we're all looking forward to, ladies and gentlemen, is this Saturday in London, England, as AEW All In at Webley Stadium.
Yes, and there are three major matches I'm looking forward to the most, which include the World Heavyweight Title match between the douchebag fuck MJF. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize. Let me rephrase that.
Stop it.
We have the World Heavyweight Title match between the scumbag fuck MJF
Hey, he does a
against,
good job at it.
of course, but he's still the scumbag fuck regardless, against against his BFF Adam Cole.
You know what? Can I say something
Go
about
ahead
that
and say
match?
it. Go ahead and say it.
I said this, I tweeted this about a couple weeks ago. You know what's going to happen?
What's up?
Regardless of who wins this match, they're friends for now. But because of the fact that they want to prove to each other who's the better man, you know what this reminds me of, Kurt?
What?
It's going to reminds me of Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio back in 2005. How like, okay, we're just going to, wrestle each other. That's it, and it's going to get personal because that one person couldn't beat the other person, and I think that's what's going to happen between MJF and Adam Cole. They're friends, but I don't think they're going to be friends anymore after this match.
Of
And I
course
think
not.
I think the feud is going to stretch longer. They're going to be like, well, damn, I didn't beat this guy. I gotta, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but this match is a big deal, though. It's going to be in front of that big of a crowd, over 80,000 people.
I know that's when yeah, of course, it's a big deal though. But I'm just saying, like, after this is they're not going to be cool anymore.
Yeah, their segments on TV have been fun the last few weeks, especially that one segment last week where they go to Outback Steakhouse and like freaking Adam Cole's like face all lights up when he's looking at the menu. I'm not sure why, but still it was a funny reaction. And then they're like clowning around backstage, and then Tony Khan like yells at them in the office saying, "You can't be doing this stuff. You can't be doing this stuff." As they're walking out of the office, MJF says, "Yeah, he's gonna regret that once my contract's up next year."
Oh my lord!
And then after he says that, Tony Khan walks out and says, "What did you just say? What was that?" And then MJF's like, "Nothing. I just said, how you doing, Tony? How's everything?" And he's like, oh, "Okay, cool. Have a nice day." Yo, and he's talking about this shit called like the kangaroo kick, where he like poses like a kangaroo trying to do that, and he's like about to kick someone like one, and but then it never happens. Though he always gets interrupted.
Mm,
It gets a monster pop though when he sets up for it.
crazy. Oh, and I forgot. Let's not forget they both. I forgot they MJF and Adam Cole have a tag match earlier tonight.
Yes, on the pre-show they are wrestling for the Ring of Honor tag titles.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this all plays out. It's been such a fun storyline. It's definitely been probably the best storyline they've had all summer, and one of the best in wrestling
Mm.
all summer. And it's gonna suck to see it end. I will admit, it was gonna suck to see it
Yeah, I
end.
know. I'm just calling like how I see it, man. So I mean, it is what it is.
But
So
but I think it's gonna
um,
be a great match regardless. The match on Sunday, especially considering it's the main event.
I want to ask you this about another match between FTR and the Young Bucks for the World Tag Team Championships. Now, after what happened with Cash Wheeler got in some trouble, but we all thought it was going to affect the match they're going to have, though. But apparently, they didn't affect his passports coming to England or anything, so they're still going to have the match. Thank goodness. I want to ask you this, Kurt. Do you think with Cash Wheeler getting in trouble, right? Do you think that they're going to take the belts off of them as like a form of punishment?
It could happen. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'm just happy, at least regardless of how the match turns out, that it's actually going to happen. Because that would have sucked if, like, the legal trouble was
If we didn't get the match at all, that's what we're all afraid of.
yeah, like it would have sucked if that whole arrest that happened last week caused him to miss the show and he did have to forfeit his passport. But that's crazy though. Like he fucking waved a gun at someone.
Mm-hmm.
Some
Wow.
road rage shit.
I was surprised when I heard about it. But like they just didn't affect his passport or anything like that. They still let him. I'm like, wow. I was like, oh, well, damn. At first, like 1 minute, I'm like, oh, they're not gonna have the match, and then 5 minutes later, I'm reading another report. I'm like, oh, so they're already gonna have the match. So
Yeah, they're arguably two of the best tag teams in all of wrestling, and FDR has been on a fucking roll lately with the matches they've been having on Collision. And this was definitely a match that had to happen, and I'm happy that it is happening. And holy shit, is it going to be a masterpiece? A masterpiece. That's exactly what it's going to be.
I agree.
Those teams are the reason why I love tag team wrestling, and those two teams are the reason why I think tag team wrestling doesn't get enough love.
No, I agree with you. I wish it was better.
Yeah, fucking good shit. I can't wait for that match. And also, I can't wait for Chris Jericho and Will Ospreay, especially after the promo they had on Dynamite last night, which is actually here in Atlanta. But unfortunately, I was not able to go.
Oh, you weren't able? Oh, that was in Atlanta.
The same arena they had the show at last year in that area called Duluth, Georgia. Yeah, they had it in that arena last night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they had a great segment, a great back and forth segment, which made you a lot more excited for the match than you were previously.
Interesting.
Also, we have an Anarchy at the Arena match between Blackpool Combat Club and Eddie Kingston and Orange Cassidy and his crew, which is going to be wild.
Ooh. And
It's going to be in a
CM
stadium
Punk,
too. Like,
CM Punk versus Samoa Joe for the Real World Championship.
oh yes, yes, that's also going to be going down.
Yeah, a lot going down.
Yeah, that match is going to happen. Also, we're going to get, as officially as of last night, in a tag team coffin match, Darby Allin and Sting against Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage.
Mm-hmm. And a coffin match.
Who's been a menace on the mic lately.
Damn.
Yeah, he has not been fucking around lately. Yeah, so they're going to have that match. And Swerve Strickland just recently opened up in an interview that how WWE made one of their biggest mistakes by letting him go.
Oh, yeah, I read about that. Crazy, dude.
He's proved that in these last few months in the AEW especially. Yeah, he could definitely be somebody who's a contender for the title soon.
That's a good point.
He's definitely a dude I could see in the title picture. Bro, I'll say this. His run in AEW so far has been a lot better than Keith Lee's has been so far.
Oh, that's a good point. Oh, my God.
You never see Keith Lee anywhere.
Yeah, I know, sadly.
This card is really shaping up, and the go home show last night definitely made you amped up to see it and made this show feel like a big deal. And I can't wait for Sunday.
And Kurt, ladies and gentlemen, and remind me and let everybody know, where could we watch AEW All In this Saturday?
Well, you can watch it on Bleacher Report. I believe you can order it on Bleacher Report or Fight TV.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I know some movie theaters play their pay-per-views also. Like you can look up local movie theaters in your area that might be playing it, and yeah, you could go watch it there too.
Oh, wow.
It's $25.
How much you say?
$25.
Oh, interesting.
But I'm happy Collision is doing well with CM Punk. You could definitely give credit to for the success it's been having so far. But there are stories coming out that Punk is causing problems again.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because in Collision a few weeks ago, like he ran into Dolph Ziggler's brother, who like said something about Punk on Twitter after like his promo when he came back, calling him a kind of a soft ass. And then Punk confronted him and got in his face about what he said. And apparently now that dude's no longer allowed at Collision.
Damn.
And also, Matt Hardy's not allowed at Collision anymore either because apparently, like after the whole scrimmage happened with Punk and the Young Bucks, he took the Young Bucks aside.
Wow.
And also, Punk. There was reports that Punk got into it with Jungle Boy. I'm sorry with Jack Perry because Jack Perry wanted to use real glass in like a spot for his match,
Mm-hmm.
but the management and also Punk were like trying to tell him not to do it because it wasn't necessary. It was gonna be against protocol and whatnot, and like it was like a health hazard. And I think like him and like Jack Perry and Punk got into it over that. And I think Punk said like if you don't like the ruling that then you don't have to be on Collision anymore.
Damn.
But in that case, it seemed like Punk was right though. Like in that case, it seemed like Punk was like the one in the right as far as that argument went.
I see what you mean.
And then he cut that promo on Hangman Adam Page after the match on Collision a few weeks ago after it went off the air, talking about how the reason why they call you Hangman is because your action figures and your merchandise hang from the store because nobody buys it.
Damn.
But apparently he said that he didn't like the way it came off and it didn't come off right, and he actually apologized to Hangman afterwards.
Hmm.
But damn, I mean, it doesn't sound good from these stories we're hearing so far, but I have to give the dude credit. He is a big part of why that show was so good. I got to give credit where it's due.
That is true. That's true.
And I'm just mad I missed the show last night because they actually taped Collision last night after Dynamite, and I missed my chance to see Punk and boo the shit out of him.
I'm sure you'll get your another opportunity, man. Just like hopefully another show will come to Vegas. Hopefully I'll go.
Yeah, and I was going to chant, like, go to therapy, you moody asshole. You're emotionally immature, Punk. You need to grow up. Also, Lacey Evans is officially done with WWE. She came out with it last week that as of midnight, she was going to be a free agent and she was going to go by a real name. So now she's officially done. And it's too bad, man. Her character had some potential, but I think with her, it was just a case of too much too soon because they put her in that feud with Becky right away. And then just right after that, it just was never the same.
Oh man. Well, wish nothing but the best for her. I'm quite sure she has some other goals and ventures to do in her life. But yeah,
Also, I heard she's starting an OnlyFans.
yeah, I know the videos, the meme you sent me. Oh my god, man!
And she has a nice body. I always said that from the very beginning. She has
Yeah,
a
very
very
fit.
nice
Oh yeah,
body,
yeah.
very good shape.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you ex-Marine too, ex-Marine. That's why I'm kind of bummed she didn't have that match with Cardi B that one year because she would have tore Cardi B in half.
Oh yeah, she would have.
Oh, that would have been great. That would have been better than seeing Floyd Mayweather get roughed up by Big Show.
That's a good point. Oh man.
And also one last thing, Sunny, a most recent picture came out of her last week in court as she pled no contest to the charge she's being faced with murdering that man last year after driving drunk and hitting the car he was in, and she could face up to 25 years in prison.
Look, I said this before. I'm gonna keep it short. Look, you got so many chances before that. When you're making this, when you're making the same mistake over and over again, you got to learn. You're way too old in your life to be making mistakes like this, dude. Like you can't be doing that. Just it's a sad downfall. That's all I can say. And she wasn't learning.
Yeah, that before and after picture I shared of her last week is some scary shit. Sad.
That's a big years of age gap between who she was back then and who has she become now.
It's not just the
But
age thing. It's not just the age thing. It's her actions, her behavior, all the shit that.
no. I'm talking about the years in between of how she looks like now and how she looked back then. And just the type of person that she was back then. You know what I mean? But just like I said, you got to learn. She hasn't learned, and I don't have any sympathy. I'm sorry. I know it comes out as harsh, but when you're making so many mistakes like that, repeated mistakes, what gives? You know?
Yeah, that's the thing. She made these mistakes over and over again, and even worse, she never showed any remorse for it or took any accountability for it.
Right.
Like she would talk about all these DUIs. She would in interviews. She would like talk about all these different like DUIs she had, all the different trouble she would get in, like getting arrested like 5 times within like the span of 2 weeks, and she would laugh about it. It was like funny to her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
See, nope.
In her case, it's very hard to feel sorry for her. It's very hard to feel bad for her.
Right.
And but
Right.
also, unfortunately, she had a lot of enablers. She had like a lot of people who just let her get away with that shit for so long and like never called her out on it. And now look where she is.
Yep.
Yeah, very sad, bro. But I know you got to get out of here, so we'll wrap this up right now. So, rest in peace to Bray Wyatt. Also, rest in peace to Terry Funk, and unfortunate losses for the wrestling community. But regardless, we're still going to be here breaking you off with that wrestling news, wrestling knowledge, everything in between. And we got you guys anytime, any place. So for next time, for John Randall, this is Kurt Cadet for another edition of the Clash of Champions. We will see you guys next week. Don't be an asshole in real life or on social media because that shit is for the birds. Take care.
Peace.